Welcome to my first blog post. Today I'm going to talk about terminology I will be using that you should probably know. Since today's topic is going to be about park mobility, I think I will begin with the definitions of common terminology you should know in that field. Let's start with ECV, Electronic Convenience Vehicle. These would be the mobility scooters you see at Disney parks. In my experience, ECVs are the most convenient form of mobility aids at Disney parks and resorts. A great number of people benefit from mobility aids every day, such as canes, crutches, walkers, and wheelchairs. Think about this with me for a minute. A single day at one Disney park can add up to 10 miles of walking. For individuals with an able body and mind, that can be a challenge, but for the disabled, it's almost impossible. And there's a large number of disabled people who do not use mobility aids on a daily basis, who greatly benefit from them at Disney parks. Those most in need of mobility aids fall under one or more of these categories: arthritis, cognitive, developmental, and sensory divergence, diabetic-related wounds, people with fractures, heart or lung conditions, injuries to the feet, legs, or back, any number of walking impairments, or people recovering from surgery. As for myself, I use the ECVs at Disney parks and resorts due to walking and sensory overload impairments related to my autoimmune disease and autism. Now, I'm sure I've already used terms that could definitely use a definition, so let's break it down one definition at a time. As I've already mentioned, mobility aids already are pretty self-explanatory, encompassing ECVs, canes, crutches, walkers, and wheelchairs. But many people do not understand what cognitive, developmental, and sensory divergence is, so I'd like to explain that now. I will conclude these definitions with explaining how ECVs are a great tool for the neurodivergent. A neurodivergent person is defined as one whose neurological development and state are atypical. Neurodivergent examples include autism, Down syndrome, and other types of intellectual disabilities. Differences between neurotypical and neurodivergent should be viewed as opposites but of the same coin. Characteristics of neurotypical people are speed, accuracy, and logic, whereas characteristics of neurodivergency include spontaneity and nonlinear thinking. The three types of neurodivergency that exist are, of course, cognitive, developmental, and sensory. So let's break those down, one definition at a time. A person with cognitive disability has greater difficulty with one or more types of mental tasks than the average person. The average person has what is described as executive function, or the management system of the brain. That's because the skills involved let us set goals, plan, and get things done. When people struggle with executive function, it impacts everything. So cognitive disabilities make it almost impossible to pay attention, organize, plan, prioritize, start tasks, staying focused, see those tasks through to completion, understanding different points of view, regulating emotions, self-monitoring, keeping track of what they're doing, panicking when the rules or routines change, having trouble focusing, getting overly emotional and fixated on things, having trouble organizing their own thoughts or communicating. Close your eyes and imagine what it would be like living with a brain like that and going to Disney parks and resorts. It's very overwhelming. This segues perfectly to sensory disabilities, which can affect how a person gathers information from the world around them. Sensory disabilities affect one or more of a person's senses: touch, hearing, sight, taste, smell, and spatial awareness. For me personally, spatial awareness is a huge issue with Disney parks because, let's face it, they're very crowded even on their slow days. My autoimmune disease is what made it necessary physically for me to use an ECV at Disney parks. But an amazing and unexpected side effect happened. I actually enjoyed and relaxed on a Disney park vacation for the first time. This is not to say I didn't thoroughly enjoy my previous visits, but it just made me experience Disney World fully without sensory overload casting a long shadow on my whole experience. For once, I could take it all in. This experience was such a game changer for me that I want to share it with others, and to remind people that not all disabilities are visible or obvious, and to show empathy. You never know what we are going through. Growing up, Disney has taught me that tolerance and acceptance of people different than ourselves is one of the most magical things we can do. To quote Helen Reddy's character Nora from Disney's 1977 Pete's Dragon,
"There's room for everyone in this world. Will everyone make some room? Love given freely."
thanks for watching. I have information on how you can get yourself an ECV for your next vacation. Don't forget to join me when I discuss Disney transportation for Disney with disabilities. I'll see you real soon!